Chapter 5. From Fear to Fruit. Fear is the most fertilized soil, but whose assignment is it to nurture your vulnerabilities? Fear is like a barrier that stands between you and your purpose in life. Fear can make the stepping stones to your purpose disappear before your eyes, even when you have a clear view of your purpose. Fear is equipped with vulnerability because you've never allowed yourself to gain strength in those specific aspects of your life. There's a secret that the world never told you. Fear cannot survive in the outside world, only in your mind. When you take something out of its natural habitat, it's no longer able to survive based on the necessities of its existence. Fear can only survive in the mind because it acts like a lens when you look towards doing things differently. The fear that stands between you and your purpose might seem like the tallest hurdle ever, but remember, it only exists in your mind. You'll soon realize that the hurdles that seem taller than the sky are merely illusions. Fear fades away when you gain the momentum to challenge your circumstances. When Frank was 7 years old, Mother Carrie was in an abusive relationship. One night, his mother's boyfriend was livid because she refused to open the door due to the abusive behavior he demonstrated before Frank's young eyes. Mother Carrie had boiled a pot of hot water in desperation to keep him safe, and Frank closely observed the situation. All he knew was that he loved his mother more than anything in the world. It immediately took him out of his element to see her take extra precaution in an attempt to keep him safe. As the water came to a boil on the stove eye, tears shimmered in the eyes of her baby boy. Mother Carrie didn't want him to witness the possibility of what might happen. She also didn't want to haunt him if she kept the truth of this moment locked away, since he already had gotten a glimpse. The abusive individual had beaten on the door to the point that the door broke and forced himself into their home. His mother defended them to the best of her ability, and even in the midst of drastic measures, Frank never left his mother's side. The consequences of his curiosity left scars from splashes of the boiling hot water. Frank realized at a young age that everything in life wasn't perfect. And this was the night when he really challenged the thought of, what's going on with my family and what makes us so different? Although he didn't know what role to play in his family tree, he understood that sacrifices were going to have to be made in order to propel them forward. With no one else around to look up to, he turned to the mirror in search of the individual who would one day make those sacrifices. That's why the uncertainty of his future scared him the most. An atmosphere of fear started following his family like a shadow. But he soon realized that even in the darkest moments, the scariest clouds have a silver tint hidden inside them. Even fear itself has vulnerabilities, and if you target it every time you see it, you'll unlock the powers of your potential that you didn't know existed inside yourself. Fear is the most fertilized soil, and there are benefits to planting seeds in this garden. If a child understands this at a young age, you'll hear them question their circumstances more than usual. This isn't something to get upset about. It's something you should embrace, because it's an early sign of strength showing that a child is strong enough to challenge their circumstances. What was once fear to Frank became fruit he fed himself from. Fear was the seed that stimulated his maturity in not only challenging his circumstances, but also yearning for a better life. Mother Carrie made the sacrifice to stay at home on welfare because this was the only way she was able to keep security in her household. Her security when it came to family became a force field that couldn't be penetrated without her permission, ever since she had to defend her baby boy from a toxic individual. Influences from the outside world could no longer contaminate the pureness that Frank kept in his heart. His safe haven was under his mother's roof. However, he would soon have to walk out the front door where his mother's security didn't exist. His mother could protect him, but only when he was under her roof. When you have a pure heart, the outside world gravitates to you like a shark smelling blood. The outside world tries to throw every negative label known to man at your profile picture. The world attaches negative labels to adolescents who make mistakes while ignoring the fact that these children lack guidance, ensuring they'll automatically have trouble in some aspects of life every time they walk out the front door of their single-parent security. Disoriented boys are stuck in the wrong narrative, and disoriented girls are taken advantage of. Fatherless females yearn to have relationships with males because they're seeking security, structure, and protection. Far too often they end up with their hearts broken and taken advantage of due to gravitating towards the wrong images of what they think a real man looks like. When a young child walks out the door every day, people don't have the magnitude to understand what must happen to ensure they make it back safely, develop in the right direction, not be guided by the wrong influence based on the images their generation is attracted to, and how to trust in a world with lies lingering in the atmosphere. Although it wouldn't have been intentional, at any given point in Frank's childhood, he could have steered off course onto a direful destiny. Just one touch of direction and unconditional love could have changed his childhood. No one was there to provide it outside of his mother's security where he needed it the most. Lack of family structure is always going to be a part of society, but you navigate through it by seeking who's assigned to you at different stages of your life. When you are yearning and seeking the individuals assigned to you, you are better suited to attract what's meant for you instead of letting people prey upon you.